Aliens. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that word? Is it the short gray guys with the big heads that wish to probe the dark depths of your chocolate starfish? Or perhaps the big brown ones with tumors jutting out of their foreheads? Maybe even some blue ones that you may or may not want to go to town on like a gas station slushie? While those aliens are interesting, we're here to talk about the aliens. Specifically the forgotten DS game Aliens Infestation. Now, I'll be the first one to admit I'm not the biggest Aliens fan since I've only seen the movies a handful of times, but there was always something fascinating to me about this game whenever I first learned about it from a Nintendo Power magazine, and the fact that it came out about a year and a half before the ill-fated Aliens Colonial Marines. Infestation is a Metroidvania-style game that was brought to us by the fine folks of Wayforward, who are best known for creating the Shantae series, as well as the ones that are handling the remake of Advanced Wars 1+2. The game places you in control of a four-man squad in charge of finding a survivor aboard the adrift USS Sulaco. While the USS Sulaco isn't the only place that you'll be able to explore, it is the one that you'll be coming back to the most, since every new objective is usually taking you to a different place. Gameplay is about as basic as it's going to get for a Metroidvania, but Infestation does have a unique gimmick to it. A Fire Emblem fan's personal favorite, permadeath. Since you control a four-man squad, each squad mate basically counts like a life. Whenever one dies, another one is replaced by the other in your group. You can find various replacement squad mates throughout the game, but they only ever join you if you happen to have somebody already dead, which is kinda lame since you had to intentionally kill your squad mates in order to get the ones that you want. I think the biggest missed opportunity is giving squad mates their own unique abilities or stats. Like, the main guy you start off with would be the most balanced character, whereas some of his teammates would either be faster, stronger, or able to take more hits than he does. So it ends up being that there's no benefits for killing off somebody intentionally, if only just because you want somebody for how they look or for what little backstory they have. Though it is nice that every squad mate has something unique to say whenever they're the lead during the story, for whatever little story there is for this game. While squad mates can die during combat, there is a small chance that they can be captured and taken away, giving you a chance to go rescue them, with an indicator showing where they're being kept. And I only discovered this on my second playthrough because on my first playthrough, whenever somebody died, they just died. Of course, if the person that you just rescued ends up dying again, they will be permanently dead because a facehugger will pop out of their chest. While permadeath is one of the big selling points of Aliens Infestation, there's hardly points in the game where permadeath is going to be a big issue unless it's boss fights, since save rooms are common and exist as a means to refill your health and ammo. There are health and ammo pickups strewn about the environment, but they're usually put in places where enemies aren't going to pop up, so it usually negates the helpful benefits of going after them, when you can just run to a save room and restock anyway. Throughout Infestation you can use 5 different weapons. The first 2 you start off with is the Smart Rifle and Pistol. The next one you acquire is a shotgun. After that would be a flamethrower. Then the next would be the smart gun, with the smart gun being a personal favorite of mine for how much ammo it has and how much damage it does. And every weapon is capable of being upgraded with these little upgrade crates you find throughout the game. And there's plenty of upgrade crates around, so you don't have to worry about potentially wasting one on a weapon you might not end up using at the end game. But the worst part about weapons is that you can't switch them out freely unless you go to a save point, which can be annoying since you often need the flamethrower to progress in certain parts of the game. Since this is a DS game, I bet you're wondering if the touchscreen is used in any significant fashion, and the easy answer for that is no. There's only 2 times the touchscreen is used in any significant fashion. One is for whenever you're getting chased down by xenomorphs and you have to control a gun, while the other is a little minigame you unlock after a certain point in the game. Any other time you're using the touchscreen is to look at the maps or open welded doors or turning on lights in dark rooms, though there's hardly any reason to relegate welding doors and turning on lights to the touchscreen since there's no minigame to doing them, and those could easily be solved by either leaving the light on or just unwelding the door with the A button. They just serve to kind of slow down the game a bit and be kind of annoying. It just feels like using the touchscreen for the sake of the touchscreen. Like with any Metroidvania, you're expected to explore, and exploration usually leads to rewards, like hidden power-ups or items that you may need to progress to make things easier on yourself. But Infestation has a lot of empty areas that have nothing to offer and really discourages exploration. Though I figured out on my second playthrough that many of the empty areas are used to house your captured crewmates whenever they get downed by a xenomorph, which is kinda neat, but it ultimately feels like you're wasting your time exploring, especially if none of your crewmates are dying that often or being captured. Enemy variety and Infestation is a bit lacking, to say the least. Besides your run-of-the-mill xenomorphs and facehuggers, you got UPP soldiers or androids, and even these new versions of xenomorphs created in labs that look like gorillas and xenomorphs put together. There's a grand total of 5 different bosses in this game, each one straightforward as the next, with the only exception being the third boss where you have to drop it out of an airlock, since you apparently can't straight up kill it. The final boss is also worth knowing since it has an extremely large pool of health and takes a while to kill. There's a good chance that you could probably run out of ammo while trying to shoot it, and you'll be forced to use your pistol for the rest of the fight. Now there really isn't too much worth noting of the story, and if you just want a synopsis of it, you could just go ahead and look it up on Google. Infestation will generally clock you about 3 hours worth of gameplay if you play it right. And while I enjoyed my time with Infestation, there isn't anything that I could say that makes it stand out among the competitors in the genre. But there's worse things you could do with your free time, so if you have like 3 hours to kill, I give it a good recommendation. And with that, that finishes out the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.